attempt to make it so you can hear me and what I'm doing. So let me work out some volume levels real quick. Okay. Can you hear me over that? Okay. Just let me know if we're good, and we'll get down to business. You can hear both clearly though, like I want to make sure you can hear the music clearly and vice versa. It's always a pain to figure out running more than one audio source. Okay, anyways, just working on some stuff. I just threw down a quick piano line because I was feeling like a silly piano line. So we're gonna work with what we got. Kind of an old school Roland electric piano thing going on there. Let's grab a kick. I like that one. It's a little bit got a bit of an old school tone to it. Not quite enough though, so I'm gonna pitch it up a little bit. Sounds about right. I'm gonna throw a bit of an overdrive on because that's fairly common for older stuff. A bit more. That sounds good. So we'll knock out some of the high end on it. A little less. Bring up the mids. Knock out the really lows. Give it a bit of a hollow tone. That's good right there. Yeah, this is Acid Pro. This is generally, like, the piano was sequenced in ModPlug, because it's easier to, well, it's infinitely easier to work with, like, sound fonts and stuff like that, and since I'm using an old Roland sound font, it's easier to just work with it in there than render it out and drop it in here, throw a little bit of delay on it, and kick up the high end. Alright, so just need a really standard crash. That was nice, a little bit degraded there. Bring up the highs a little bit of the sibilance. And give it some mono delay. So we aren't even gonna do any passing on that, we're just going to normal. That's good. Less feedback. I think that's good. That synth that all the J-Core producers use, I don't know what synth you're talking about. That could be anything. Alright, get some cheeky hats in there. That's a hat, alright. I think I'm just gonna pitch down. Let me actually pitch it to match. Okay, so it'll be, there's gonna be like less than a semitone in there, like let's say 0.35. you know, pitch it to the track. We don't want to. Yeah, you can make some good cymbals and sweeps using just a noise generator and a filter of some kind. So we're just going to get a basic hi-hat line in there. Really bring up the highs on that. Knock out some of the mid-lows, knock out all the lows. We're going to give this one a bit of a roomy reverb. Really bring out some of the body there. So like that's the difference like just a little bit of reverb can make, you know, no real body here after we've pulled everything out of it like that. But if we kick up a little bit, just a little bit of reverb, so much more body. Hey Tombstone, how's it going? Oh my god. Okay, so Acid does this thing where sometimes it will decide something is long enough to like be a looped audio file, and sometimes it will do it with some percussion, and you'll get some really funny sounds like that. And I've generated like a lot of really cool like little breakdowns before something happens just by doing that. It's really funny and really cool. So like several of these might do that, like I think 0.6 is like what it's looking for. Yeah, you can change it, but I leave that totally turned on because I get like some of the coolest effects just out of like scrolling through and hearing that. And it's only doing that one in particular because it's less than 0.1 seconds. There's got to be like a closed hat that'll do it. So you'll be able to pick out lots of really annoying, fun sounds doing that. Alright, but what I wanted was just some like shakers or tambourines. Let's do that one's nice. I'm down to the point with like producing old school happy hardcore like this that I know like the patterns that sound good. Like this is da 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 da. That's so fun. Oh shoot, did you really, Tombstone? Just do whatever with whatever I provide and like post it, sell it, I don't care. I want to hear that. I want to hear what people do with my stuff, so do it. Let's grab a Hoover. I just gotta find which one I'm gonna use. That's the one. That's the stuff. that's a good hoover. Love that. There is a MIDI functionality. You can bring in MIDI stuff, and that works pretty quickly. I'm actually rather fast with just pitch shifting notes in here, so that's what I like to do, and I like the quick resampling, kind of messy resampling it has with one-shots. Yeah, not recommended for sequencing by any means. It's just kind of what I've come to use alongside ModPlug for some reason. I'm not using Acid typically, so it's not the best way to dive into things. Let's grab some snares. Let's get a little fade in. Generally speaking, stuff tends to be a mix of the two. For leads, especially any complicated leads or complicated VST work, I will do that in ModPlug prior, and then I'll import it into Acid. So just mix and match. But honestly, most of the time it's just whatever feels good. Sometimes I've produced like some fairly expensive lead work in Acid as well, and it's just kind of whatever I'm in the zone for. Like I sometimes I'll bounce back and forth a lot. Sometimes I'll stay in one application or only one application. It's totally unpredictable. Just work however. My advice to anybody like being like, oh, what should I use? How should I use it? Just don't think about it. Just open up applications as it happens, you know? It's the only way you're gonna get things happening. Snares. That snare sounds a little too hi-fi for me. Get some of that woody quality out of it there around the between 600 and 1000 hertz. So you can really bring it up to get more click out of it. Good old 909 snares. Yeah, Vanguard's not free, but it's a cool plugin I recommend. And yeah, Acid actually by default throws a track EQ on every track you bring in here, so you can just quickly edit things. I really like that, so I can really quickly just edit a sound like that, an entire track like that, just all the way across. I drop in a snare or something and play around with it until it sounds right. That is straight out of like 1998, isn't it? Alright. It's just missing breaks. All you need is breaks in something like this, right? So let's get some breaks. What breaks are we feeling? Don't say the Amen either. I mean, I really like the Amen, but I find with like stuff like this, it's like The almond can be really good if you really stutter it and chop it up, make it into tiny pieces, but you better get something with a lot of high end. You know, so better to poke around, you know. VSTs for everything? Synth 1. Synth 1 is my go-to. It's perfect. I'm actually really liking the first one I heard there. I think that's going to be the one to go to, and I believe this is timed at 172 BPM, so we're going to not preserve pitch while stretching. And I'm going to pray that's it. Yep. Gonna chop it up to get a more constant groove. It kind of had that jungle. So instead, I just take the first part and repeat it to get a more constant groove, you know, to follow the 4 on the floor beat. Just so nice constant break there, kick out over to the low end because we don't want that to clash with our kicks, you know? Bring up the mid-highs. The highs a lot to get that kind of sampled feel out of it. And bring down the really highs. I don't think I'm digging the ghosts on that, though. I don't know about those. Let's try some other breaks. Apache's always good, so let's have it that. These are all 172. Got a folder full of breaks I timed to 172 BPM. Very convenient to know what speed your brakes are at. Hey, Graz, what's up? Oh, did you? I didn't know. Did you use acid too? I didn't know. That's wicked. That'll be great. I'll bring my drive full of samples, and we gotta sit down together and work on some stuff. I'd love to do that. It's really fun working in person. I have a hell of a lot easier time doing it than like collaborating online or anything like that because it's like the energy's right there. It's not often I get to do that either, so that'll be great. That we'll work in the same. Yeah, I use acid and bounce down like some melody work sometimes from Modplug, but yeah, so we've got like the same kind of workflow there. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna be in Washington in the fall, around September, October, I believe, late September to like late October. So, oh no, acid 6. I use 7. But I can work with pretty much any version of acid. All I need is one-shot samples, and I'm fine. I don't need all the like B mapping and stuff like that. It just speeds up the process. I've been building up my library of samples for years. It is many, many, many gigabytes large. So I can't say like it's from one place because that would be a lie. A really terrible lie. I'm going to save this as match my keyboard. And then I just sort by date. That's how I know how to find things. Now let's kick up synth 1, 175 BPM. Modern so it doesn't go out of time. Let's get cheesy. Let's get really cheesy. $236 gigs. Jesus Christ. You got me annihilated. I've lost mine a few times. I do not have a 236 gigabyte sample folder. That is enormous. Does that include like acapellas and stuff like that though? Because I have those like scattered everywhere else. On like DVDs and shit like that. No, this is mod plug right now. This is where the cheese happens. Oh, that's cheesy. That is dangerous. let's render that out. That is corny as heck. I want to get kind of a more brassy sound out of it though. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna double up with like a super sauce sample because I want a kind of resampled quality to this. So let's kick in some kind of multi-sampled super sauce on kind. No, that's stupid. that's too new. Oh, that's some gabber shit. Too clean. That's pretty cheesy, but not the kind I'm looking for. That's the stuff. So I'm gonna give that a volume curve like this. So you can hear it playing in the background there. It's not even tuned to the same like key or something. Let me... There we go. So let's give that a filter envelope as well. I'll mute synth 1 here so you can hear it. So kind of a silly Casio keyboard kind of brass sound. That's the stuff right there, isn't it? So we'll bring synth 1 back into the mix. That's cheesy as heck. Need to just give it a little bit of ramping. And there. Now we can save this as funny.wav. Just bounce it to the desktop. And it's ready for prime time right here. Give it a little bit of... that and a little bit of reverb, of course. Let's hear it on its own, the reverb. So we'll just mix that down a bit, mostly dry on this. That is so cheesy. Let's get a little bit of a funny little ARP kind of lead in there. Let's back this guy out. Get out here, you dumb sample. Actually, let's replace you with that other one that was kind of funny. That one. I only want the beginning of this, and I'm gonna loop it really short, like this. No volume or filter on that, just clean. No attack, no release, full sustain filter, no attack on that. No unison. And all I want out of this is a little kind of a cheesy ARP, so okay, that's cheesy, so we're gonna add some cutoffs. Oh, this part's fun. That first part's way too ambiguous, so I'm actually just gonna make that into a major. Now I'm actually gonna bring in some harshness to that. Cutoffs, plus equals towards the top right. Knock out the low ends here. Get really cheesy, add a bit of... Yeah, mod plug's free, and so is this synth I'm using. Synth 1 is also free. So I'm gonna add some portamento to that. That's good, that's fun. Alright, I think that's what I'm going to stick with. Cheese.arp.wav. That's not even a file name, there's a slash in that. And I'm just going to bring that in for the second half here. I'm gonna, for this, give it some delay, but dotted, so it lands on, not on quarter notes. I'm gonna make it shorter so it has kind of a digga 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 pattern. That's really fun. But it's not fun enough. So I'm going to completely remove these delays to make these notes shorter. And this will sound really fun once the delays get in there. That's what's going to kind of round this out. So let's re-render that. And listen now. And so after that, I'm going to add a bit of reverb to give it some more body. Always reverb. The delay plugin is Retro Delay, which, as far as I recall, is free. The other one's just called Classic Reverb, and it's also free. It's really, really good. Really good, what's the word? There are three kinds of reverb, and this is the kind that isn't, like, generated from a waveform. Whatever. Algorithmic? Whatever. Who gives a fuck? It's a good reverb. I've used guitar and stuff like that. Typically speaking, I prefer synthesized sounds over real instruments. Typically speaking. So, alright, now these two sounds are probably going to clash. You can't hear one over the other, right? So we're going to have to fix that immediately. To fix it, I'm going to bring up these. No, I'm going to Yeah, I'm gonna bring up those. I'm gonna bring down these. I'm gonna bring up a bit of these too. Then for this, I'm gonna bring down these. And I'm gonna bring up those. Okay, this isn't gonna work. But it's okay, I can still use that ARP. It's still a good ARP. Not all is lost. I'm not gonna let that ARP get away, it's a good one. Let's get some other breakbeats in here. Who wants some more breaks? Everybody wants more breaks always, I don't care what you say. Where'd I put my think break? No, I don't want to use the think break here. I've got like a loop full of like really... Or a folder full of like some really weird stuff here. Like some sequence stuff, not like traditional breaks. A lot of those suck. Okay, percussion loops. No thanks, fuck off. There's like another folder I have. It was from Music Radar, their D&B Breaks package. It was like a free thing. And there's some really cool stuff in here. Some cool variations of like classic breaks that are a lot of fun to play with. Most of them are... What the fuck BPM is this? Like 174? So let's just pitch it up a little bit to match. I'm gonna want to adjust the pitch on this one, so... Let's get a bit funky here. So there's a nice, fun, chopped up break. That's a good one. So we're going to pan that over a little bit. Not much stereo widening. I'm going for kind of an old school vibe here, so I don't want to have too much in the stereo spectrum here. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. To kind of separate it from this. Now, the thing about this break here is there's not a whole lot of body behind like these really stuttered kind of staccato drum hits here. So we're going to throw a bit of reverb on it. But we're going to use this a bit differently. We're going to just enough to give it a bit more body like that. And then we're going to throw on a compressor and really give it some oomph. So let's do that. That's actually a really nice almond variation. That hit me right from the get-go. I like that. Let's bring that right in here, no questions asked. I think I might just like let it play straight. What effect on the break? The one I just resequenced there, this one here. On that one, I threw on some reverb, just like very light room reverb on that, and then a compressor, a really, not really, really heavy one, like, kind of a, like, regularly, if I'm using a compressor, it's going to sound like this. But, just kind of a light compressor on that. After the reverb, because the reverb adds some body to it, and then, you'll want to use the compressor to really make that a bit louder. To kind of like pull that out after the drum hits, the compressor will help pull the reverb out of it. Like, I'll show you a quick example. So like, let's make the reverb longer, right? So here's the reverb a bit longer without the compressor. And so now it's really quiet so you can't hear it, right? But if I throw on a compressor, the reverb's going to start coming through a bit more. And if I make that compressor really heavy, like take the threshold way down and the amount up to like 4 or 5 times, it's going to sound like this. So you can hear the bounce back, the gating on the reverb there if you throw the compressor on afterwards. So, you know, a little bit of room reverb. And you got that extra body there and it sounds great. I'm gonna have to beat map this because I want to do pitch shifting on it, but whatever. No problem. 172, I think. No, I don't know what the fuck that is. Four? Yeah. And we're gonna do speech. Where the hell did I put that snare? Is that it? No, that's not it. What the hell channel was the snare in? Help. Oh, there it is. Volume curve on that. Oh, I want to make sure it stabilizes before that. That's not what I wanted. I wanted a kick, but actually that'll be good too. So for this breakdown here, I'm going to want to bring in some kind of, some strings, but not like real strings. Some of them cheesy synth strings. Yeah, those are just snares. They aren't snare-esque. They're actual snares. It's just the almond break, just chopped up and pitched around. That's what that is. Some strings. 2 new. Yeah, your old PC. Yeah, that should probably run anything like before this. Before this machine, I was composing everything on a netbook. Like Figurehead was made on a netbook, and that album at one point uses like 10 instances of Massive or something. So as long as you're patient, you can do anything. You don't need a fast computer. So we're going to render these out as one file. And we're going to call this... I don't even care. It's one of the things on my desktop right now. So we're going to run that over there. And we're going to delete it and use the rendered version. So I can do a couple things to it. Take down the stereo widening a bit. Bring up these frequencies and these a bit. And some reverb. Get used to that one. So we got that. We're gonna actually maybe it'll sound good with the original stereo widening. Yeah. I don't know. I thought FL Studio was very easing. Wow. I thought FL Studio had a very, very simple, inviting interface compared to most other applications. So... yeah, like other applications, like Reason is more hardware-oriented, Renoise is a more advanced tracker, ModPlug's a very archaic tracker. FL Studio is a fairly simple, as far as like, here's a piano roll, here's a sequencer, here's a quick way to come to terms with all those, and then expand. FL Studio's like, you know, unlimited. You can do anything with that shit. It's crazy. It's just not my thing. A lot of people I know use it, and a lot of people like piano rolls. Piano rolls make me want to kill myself, so I don't use them. They're too slow for me. I really like mashing in notes like as quickly as I possibly can, so... fuck, no, I'm not re-uploading that. I'll give an example of like what ModPlug does for me personally here. Like, let's say I've got like an idea. I'm just gonna use a really basic progression here that I use time and time again. ModPlug has... Okay. No, maybe not. I mean... and good, I accidentally closed acid too, but I had saved there at least. I haven't had that one in a long time. Oh man, let's try it again. So like ModPlug is good because I'm gonna draw a sample. Here's my square wave. That's a really shitty square wave, but there it is. And then I can just be like, okay, what's my idea? Let's do BPM. I have not updated ModPlug in a long time, and I'm way too lazy to, so there you go. But I could just be like, okay, progression I use a lot, I'll just use this one. So I can mash stuff in really quickly here and be like... So then I can mash in my cutoffs. I like these, give it a stuttery sound. Whoop, wrong place. So then I can, it's really great if you have things in mind, because you can just blast through them. There's no faster way to compose. That's me shitting into the wind and just like hoping it works. Because I'm not like, I'm in a different mindset with this track right now, so I'm just kind of diverting. You could use a MIDI controller if you want, but it's kind of made for a computer keyboard because all your commands are there, and you can quickly type them in, drop in cutoffs and stuff like that. It's a lot less optimized for MIDI. And I can just add some... Add some portamentos. Blech. Instrument 1. Stop going to no instrument. Yeah, I've got my microcorg next to me. I've got my Roland Lucina. I've got my MPD-26. I've got, what else do I have? I've got shit downstairs too, but those are like the main things I've got next to me that I don't actually use for production. They're idea machines more than anything. You want me to make an Afrojack track for you, buddy? You want me to play you a saw wave that never stops bending? You want me to do that? Afrojack just uses saw waves, right? That's all he uses? Something like that. I think he just uses saw waves. Who gives a shit? Afrojack. That's Afrojack. Make an Afrojack track? Is that what we're doing? Are we making an Afrojack track now? I'll make an Afrojack track, but I'll surprise you at the end. No, don't worry, I'll get back to the other track soon. I just want to have some fun. I'm always having fun. That's what it's all about. Having fun writing music, producing whatever the hell you want to produce. Even if it's a joke, it's like, have fun with it, you know? Alright, so now we gotta use these. We gotta get some kind of clubby electro kicks. No. No, it's just... No. No! So sometimes you just pick them at random and it's like... Sometimes you get the right one. Usually you don't. But we gotta... I need like I'm just gonna jack the military snare from pawn to floor, cause that's exactly what I need, right? So I'm gonna hit up Ubisoft. My music folder is called Ubisoft. For some reason that I don't actually recall. It's just what I called it. Major laser, pawn to floor.
Come again, come again, come again, come again.
On the floor.
Yeah, that's what I need. I need these right here. So I'm gonna call this Ass Jack. And I'm gonna bring him in here. Whoa, whoops. Oh well. So this is how you sample things, kids. Just... Now, there's something in the low end happening there that I don't particularly like. So I'm going to define on like the intro one here a bit of a high pass. Oh yeah, it needs one on the attack, doesn't it? You're totally right. You know, okay, me finding air horns is really funny, because, like, I'm actually way more proficient at searching Raga air horn for shared MP3 and getting this than actually finding it in my sample folder. Like, this is way faster. Like, because I have no clue where the fuck it is in my sample folders anymore, so I always just downloaded it again. I do this with the Wonderwall acapella every time too. I don't know where it's saved, so I just Google it. Like, God bless the internet, right? Alright, so there's my Raga air horn. I hope this is the one that I always use. Nice echoey one. Save it as a wave. I haven't brought in the kicker yet. Now, I'm gonna approximate here, and I might be wrong, but I'm gonna say that this is gonna be a really wicked tune if I make a couple very, very small changes. I was making it with this in mind that I thought I was gonna do this, and I always do this. Sometimes I'll make something differently than I know it's gonna turn out, because it's always fun to do that. But I'm gonna take... Where's that cool... There's a really cool almond break in here that I really like. No. This is the one I really like. was it the one after that? There it is. So, you know, give that some almond as well. So I'm going to replace this kick with something a bit more powerful. No, I'll just double it up. I will double it up with an 808. No. 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 Yes. So, okay, here's where I take the dive, and I'm going to clean that up a bit. All right, so it should sound good like this. Okay, here's the bonus. This is... The bonus is I'm going to save that as a wave at 175. With less of this. Wobbly shit. I'm gonna not save that because that was stupid and fun. It doesn't matter. But I'm gonna. But the benefit is that, you know, I've got this now, and this is all that matters. Yeah, I'll bring it back. I'll bring this back. Who doesn't want an air horn? Stupid people. That's who. Let's see how well this jives with everything else. This is where things are gonna get cool, I guess. Maybe. I'm lucky. No, get that shit out of here. I need a cheesy little baseline thing. Just kind of like, not a donk per se, but something donk-like. I know exactly the sound I'm looking for. Kind of that bow sound. I know that's really stupid, but that one. I want some stabs, but I don't want nice finalized chords out of these. I want kind of a sustained, suspenseful chord. So I'm gonna go back into my string. Not those ones though. These ones. And how you get this to be nice and suspenseful is you just pull it down 2 semitones from the perfect whatever the fuck that is. Actually, I'm gonna do this. This typically isn't done in old school music, but I want some side chaining going on there to. So I'm just adding fade-ins to each repeat of that sound. And I want to finalize there, so... So that's what we'll do there. Actually, let's let let's let that play fairly straight. Let's really make that air horn boom. Reverb as well. Well, I've done air horn chords way too often. I think I'm done with those for now. Let's bring in another instrument, one of everybody's favorites. If you don't like this, you're a piece of dump. So let's just... I'm just gonna use that as a... So we're going to use this as a placeholder for now because I don't want to spoil the fun. So that's just a saw, and right now it sounds dumb, but I'm going to replace it. I'm going to replace it with this. It can be hard to find exactly the tone you want out of a 303 because, like, it's just got... There's so much life in a 303 to explore. A lot of people don't realize how versatile this kind of accident of a synth was for Roland. I mean, this is obviously a TB303 simulator, but 303s are just really brilliant pieces of work. I mean, it's like this essentially really crappy bass synthesizer, you know? It's like used as a bass synthesizer, it was like, what the hell is this you're trying to sell us, Roland? But used as anything else, there is so much life to these things. It's just wonderful, wonderful stuff. This is Audio Realism's Bassline 2. If you want a 303, aside from Rebirth, this is the place to go. It's so fucking real. Like, it's hard for me to believe this is software half the time. It is really, really spot on. It's right down to the clicking. You can check out the clicking you can turn on this thing. Let me get in here. Yeah, it's like 120 bucks, something like that. I think. Yeah. Okay. Somebody actually said it. I'd say for acid, a 909 is also solid. I love 909s. Really crazy snares on those things, and if you run those kicks through some distortion, they can do some damage. If you're looking for 303 sounds, yeah, it's as affordable as you're gonna get. I'm hoping to sometimes within the next 2-3 years buy an actual 303. The prices I think are reasonable enough for me to pay for that because I know how much use I would get out of a 303. I know how much use I'd get out of that, and it would be worth every penny. So I'll probably look into one in the next 2 or 3 years. Here's the part where I get to play with this bullshit. What am I gonna do with this? What am I gonna do with you? I don't know how this handles volume, actually. Okay, it's kind of like all in the last section there. So I can deal with that. So we're going to go 0 to 32 in the first pattern. 32 to 48 in the second. 48 to 52. 52 to 58. Oh, that might be steep. We'll find out. It's okay, and then 50 to 64, and then empty. We'll do that. Okay, the ramping is not as good as I'd hoped. What can I map this to? Let's try using a macro, sure. What the hell did I set it to? Macro SF1. I don't really want to deal with it that way, but I gotta. I believe it's just going to be 0 to 64. For the record, Modplug is really shitty if you want to do MIDI macros with it. I'm not going to recommend it. But if it's what you want to do, it's what you want to do. We're going to make this the longest pattern in the world. So how long is that? That's... Alright, that's good. That's 22 seconds of 303 build up. So now I just get to interpolate effect, and there we go. Alright, so what I'm also going to do is set another macro, SF2, set it to the accent. Isn't this exciting, right? Luckily this one will go a lot faster. SF2. That gets you fucking hyped. That's what that does. Wait till you hear this in the mix. This will sound great in the mix. There is nothing like a 303 with that, like, you know, this suspenseful chorus. There is nothing like that. Let's make that a bit wider first. And reverb. So we got that. We're gonna throw a compressor on it. Just bring out the reverb and everything a bit. I'm also gonna re-render it so it renders fucking properly. So I'm actually gonna set them one pattern before. Re-render the 303. There we go. Nothing beats that. Nothing fucking beats that. Nothing in the world can top that. Like, that formula, tried and true, used by so many incredible, you know, European hardcore producers. So many. And it is good. It is so good. And I encourage that everybody does that. Like, it's been done. No question about it. But it is so good. It is the perfect build-up. And then you can let everybody down with something real cheesy. Let's do that next. Let's do that and funny at the same time. We need some sweeps though. That's next. Hey kiosk, what's up? Let's get some sweeps, some effects. Put sweeps everywhere, always. Give them a lot of delay. I like delay on sweeps. It's pretty cool. Gives them a percussive quality. I'm gonna knock out a bit of the mid-highs on that, and some of the weird lows too, and bring out the highs. I think that needs a bit of reverb. I'm actually gonna... Okay, let me save that 303 just in case it breaks. I'm actually going to extend this to twice its length, which thankfully is really easy to do. All I need to do is copy and paste it. Really going to let that one last. So let's re-render the 303 again. Because I want it to rise through that entire section there. I think that would be really good. Alright, we're at this part of the track, which is the ending. Generally after this part, you're going to have a real simple repeat with just the bass line. There's a sample I want to use, so I'm gonna open it up. Earthworm Jim Groovy. There's a tone I want. Oh, thank you, YouTube.
Groovy.
There's a tone I want from that, a very specific one. So I'm just gonna run keep vid on this. Whoop. Uh-oh. Keeping vids. So I'm just gonna snag that. Because I don't think I'm pretty sure I do have that actually. I actually want to check now. I've got it saved, but music, emulated formats, BGZ, Earthworm, Jim. Do I not have the groovy? No, I don't think I do. Whatever. I've got it now. That's all that matters. Do you have it in WAV format? Not available. Whatever, I've got it saved anyways. It's fine.
Groovy.
I'm gonna apply some really shit time stretching to this. Like, longer than that. I want the stuttering sound. So you gotta use a huge, huge window.
Groovy.
I'm probably gonna want to insert some sounds before that so it does the whole thing properly. No, that's way too... no. Time stretching is hard work.
Groovy. 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 Groovy.
Does anybody know an application that does shittier time stretching than Goldwave? This isn't shitty enough. Like, I need bad time stretching. Like, really bad. Is Audacity bad at it? Does Audacity have bad time stretching settings? I'm gonna try it on Audacity first. I'm not familiar with this application at all, so excuse me if I fuck everything up. Ah! The fuck is... holy shit. Okay, there's my VSTs. Here's... change speed. Oh, that's what speed is, okay. Change tempo. Oh, that's nice and shitty. That's what I'm talking about. That's it.
Groovy.
That's exactly what I need. Sure, why is it that hard to export a file? Fuck. it's a hardcore track without a stuttered vocal of some kind. So we're gonna run it through. We're gonna run that through something. Probably a combo, a stack of some kind. Speaker sim, radio. No, speaker sim, I think. I'm gonna dig deep into the Vox folder. This is a really scary folder. You never know what you're gonna find in here.
The finest ingredients are right in the mix.
Here is a story told to the children of Africa.
That's a real sample. That really exists.
Tank fly, boss walk, jam, nitty gritty. You're listening to the boy from the big bad city, and
That's good. That's really good, actually. So I'm gonna just whoop, oops, I went to the beginning of the fucking track. That's a good vocal sample, actually. I hadn't heard that one. I haven't heard a lot of these. It's a huge, huge folder of crap ripped from old vinyls and, like, battle records and stuff like that, so... I think I might have to toss Groovy out because I like how that... It's a lot, there is a lot cooler, better stuff right there. Let's go through some more stuff.
The men beat.
Uh-huh.
This cut has been analytically...
Uh-huh.
And spinning on the turntables back to back.
If you've ever wondered where that came from, there it is. It's from a battle record. It's not from Sonic Rush, as many people seem to think. It's from an old battle record.
And spinning on the turntables back to back.
Your time is up.
Well, it sounds similar because it is the sample. Like, Naganuma is... Most of his stuff comes from battle record sample packs. Mostly stuff released between 1990 and 1996. I would say most of the sample packs he used came out, so...
Rockin' music. 'Cause you're right on time.
Good.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
keep busting.
Wait, here comes a brother I know for sure can rap.
It's such a good.
This isn't from a sample pack. This is a huge folder full of, like, battle breaks and stuff like that. Just, like, tons and tons of stuff
The
from
first cut on
records.
this record has been cross-format focused for...
Oh, no!
Check the beat out.
This calls for...
You're no good. You're no good for me. I don't need nobody. Don't need no one. That's no good for me.
Our crew. With wheels of steel.
I like, the wheels part of that.
Below profile, most versatile child, number one on the...
Total X.
Show the people!
I'm gonna be right there. For love, yeah, yeah. I wanna do it too, yeah. All right.
Listen, do you hear it? It's getting closer.
Turn it up! Death. This is Jam Hot. Turn it up!
Oops.
Give it, give it,
Everything's ready here on the dark side.
give it, give
That's good.
From the weird...
Get up. Give me some. Give me some. Give me some. Easy. Give me some. Fuck. Three.
Concentrate.
Listen here, man.
I got the D-double-O, stop. Cause I got the D-double-O, D.
So I really like how some producers of earlier hardcore use tons and tons and tons of different vocal samples in one go. In particular, like people like DJ Wax Weasel, and what were a few others? Wax Weasel jumps immediately to mind. Just like using a ton of vocal samples in a single go, especially for intro stuff like this. This will be on the intro and outro. Want to make sure these are all about the same volume now. So some of them kind of had some stuff around here I wasn't digging, so we'll pull that out. And now we'll throw on a compressor.
Wheels into the boy from the field. Wheels into the boy from the field. Give us out. 3, 2, 1. Wheels into the boy from the field. Wheels into the boy from the field.
Pitch up the wheels a bit. I think that's agreeable. I think that is something I can get behind. Oh, I might be able to get Wheels of Steel all in one go. Now I'm gonna throw in some scratch samples. Those are always a lot of fun with old school stuff. If you ever listen to like an old school hardcore record, check out what happens on the intro or outro for like the mixing. Because it's where a lot of producers kind of went crazy with samples and one shots and stuff like that. Tombstone. I'll check this out once I'm done with this. I'm nearly done, so I will check it out very shortly. Okay, so now that I'm at this stage where the track is all here, except for the intro, you'll notice that I don't have an intro. That said, I should probably throw like a crash in there. A crash and a kick and a... Good thing I checked, right? A crash, a kick, and a sweep down. So I don't really have an intro. It's because my intro is also my outro. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to render the master track. I'm probably going to call this Wheels of Steel, so I'll just wheels.wave. I'm going to render that. It only takes a few seconds. Not many effects or anything here happening, so not a particularly long render time or anything like that. I don't want to put a funny vocal sample at the end. I'm sticking to fairly traditional stuff here. Fairly traditional old school hardcore stuff. So this is going to be a mixable track, a very mixable track, so like DJs and stuff like that. Following a bit of a formula here. So now I'm going to start a new project, same BPM. And I'm going to throw this in here. Set it to 0 decibels, so it's the same volume it was going out. So here's my intro. There we go, it literally made itself right there. So now I just move this over, and bam, there's my intro. idea. I can totally relate to everything you guys are saying in chat. Everything from like speed production, like that Coldplay remix I just uploaded recently. I made that in under an hour. And sometimes things take a long ass time. Like Undertones was forever happening, and it's what, fucking 8 tracks. That was like half a year happening, over half a year of work. And like sometimes I'll be out walking and I can't remember shit. And sometimes I'll lay down in bed and I'll have to get the fuck out of bed. And sometimes I can't do anything right. And sometimes I'll... It goes without saying that for every track that I'm happy with in release, there are between 5 and 10 on the cutting room floor that I hated. Or sometimes a bunch of songs will come together to make one song. Which is the case of like Theme of Corbin, which was on Rainbow Dash Likes Girls. Theme of Corbin is 2 tracks, really. I originally started writing Theme of Corbin, and then I wrote some silly booty shit, like really hardcore booty shit, and then I just mashed the 2 together and called it done. Like, and it's like, yeah, sure, that's fine. I don't care. And like, I know other people that mash a lot of songs together and just have it work too. If anybody's familiar with Joey Classic, I think he's a really talented musician and video editor. Really funny guy. He actually just posted something like yesterday that I thought was really catchy, and he said, yeah, it's just 3 tracks, I didn't know what to finish. I didn't know how to finish them. And I thought it was great, and that sometimes that's exactly what you need to do, just smash your ideas together. It's just always keep your ideas lying around, save them somehow, and see what works. Oh yeah, I'm a big Mr. Simon fan. He makes some really, really great stuff. Really, really, really cool stuff. Now, I'm almost done mixing down this track. There's not much actual mixing work required. No master limiter or compressor. And there's no real EQing to do on this. But what I'm going to do is, since this is kind of an old school track, I do want to degrade the sound quality a bit. There's a bit of personality I want to pull out of this. So I'm going to throw on a vinyl filter. You'll hear it in just a few seconds. This thing's not going to shut up. You hear that? That humming? Coming from that? Yeah, so I'm going to throw in some vinyl dust, some... Not that loud, though, but just so you get an idea of the sounds I'm going to add to it. So, here it is untouched. Here it is with the current layer of vinyl turned on. So we're starting to lose a bit of quality on the wear here. I'm going to kick the year of the record back to 1980s press. We're losing a lot of fidelity here now. Now this is where I'm going to throw on another EQ. Kick up the high end a bit, bring down the low mids a little bit, and bring the really lows back into the mix. Knock out anything below 20 as much as possible. You know, that's a pretty solid, you know, kind of old school vinyl sound, I would say. So again, here it is without. Really clean, really produced. There's not much of not much nostalgia to it. But if you kick up the EQ in the vinyl, there's a certain quality that kind of pulls out of it. Now there's a couple other things you'll generally want to do. Do I have bass lane installed? I probably don't. Where is my thing? If you guys want to hear this sounding really clean, I can just throw Maximus on the whole mix. Let me save this. I'll just rip those off, throw on Maximus, and we'll have like a really modern production coming out of this here. It's worth noting you should probably learn something like this. You should probably learn some paragraphic and parametric equalizing and compressing. If you can do it quickly, you can save yourself so much fucking time and mix down. You can just throw it on your master, do something like this. Let's compare that to without. Here it is with. Here it is without. Boom. It's like, if you want to get a really clean sound really fast, that's how you do it. No, Maximus ain't free. So I'm going to throw this crap back on it. Although I am considering bumping it back up to 2000 here. No, 80 still does it. So I'm going to render this as FIAB Wheels of Steel. Now wait. I'll walk you guys through a more advanced mastering process now. With the same thing, only with all this taken off. So here's the track as it is. I'm going to render this out fairly quietly. And I'm going to call this just example so I can kick it up for you guys. It's a really great application. This is kind of a secret weapon. Nobody talks about using this application. It's like some kind of... It's a secret. It's called Harbal. H-A-R-B-A-L. It's a harmonic balancing program. Yeah, this was recommended to me by a big name hardcore producer. He said that Helix had been getting in... Was it Helix? I believe it was. Had been getting big into sound design and said, you have to check out Harbal. And I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing here because I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. I know how to use this thing, but I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So here's the mix right now. So here's how we're going to get the cleanest fucking thing you ever heard in your life out of this. We're going to play with the peaks and valleys on this. Peaks and valleys, peaks and valleys, peaks and valleys. And we're just going to play with them forever, pretty much, until we get a desirable shape out of it. Desirable shape comes with knowledge of... just basic equalization stuff, so you'll know what shape will look good for what genre. Generally speaking, we'll want to bring up around here. These frequencies, 100 to 200, you want to be careful playing with. A lot of the beginnings of your kicks are going to be there, and if you bring this up too much, you're going to get a really hollow sound. So this is an estimate. I don't know exactly how these sounds are going to react to being changed this way, but we can try, right? So here it is again without. I'm also going to bring up the dry air a bit to stereo widen it. Here's the original. And here it is EQ'd. So we got a lot more body on the low end there. We've got more body here. We will want to bring this side up a little bit. Really crisp it up a little bit here. Our mids, not really suffering around here, but they're suffering a bit down here in the 200 to 500 hertz range. So I want to bring these up a little bit. So again, here's the original. And here is the balanced. So you can get a lot more body out of your low end without clipping your sound file. I'm going to say we want to bring this up a lot, actually. Yeah, we can do something like that. Yeah, I can show you with like an older unmastered track that will probably make a better difference because of the way this track was produced. Not using modern high quality sounds per se. It's a lot more difficult to master the way I'm used to using this application. So let me load up. What's something that could really use some work? Yeah, I was looking at the Azrael stuff, just deciding like what would be a good idea to play with. But this thing doesn't open FLAC, so all that stuff's backed up as FLAC, so I don't want to go converting that. I'm actually going to kick up Heap Puke Space Sharp, because that wasn't run through Harbell. That was very, very simple mastering, because it's very... What the fuck is that, even? So, we'll go into this a little bit here. Oh, try the demo as your test subject. Okay, let me... Could you link it again, actually? Link that again. Link that, and I'll poke at it. Save link as... Okay... Holy Jesus Christ. Those are some scary... That is a scary waveform. Jesus Christ. That fucking rules, dude. Okay, let's save it as a wave. And let's see what strange wonders we can work with this. Yeah, it's compressed. Whoa! Okay, this was what I heard when I was listening to it just now. There was a lot of the hollow bass sound happening, and your hollow bass sounds are generally going to happen between 2 and 500 hertz. And here we have a big spike just below 200, so we're going to bring that down. These are harmful frequencies right here, around the 2000 range. We're going to bring those down a touch, kick up those above it, bring these way up because these aren't going to hurt you. Your bass needs to be rounded out a little bit. There, okay, this is weird. Right down here, we've got a lot of sub 20 hertz activity. As a general rule, on your final, right before you run it through your final compressor, take everything from 20 hertz and lower, remove it. Absolutely remove it, because it might eat the rest of your mix alive. So we're just going to completely drop that out. So everything below 20 is completely gone from the mix now. Get out of there. Get out. Stay out. Never come back. So we're going to round this out a little bit around there. These are weird. I never know how to interpret these kind of spikes around the 300 to 1000 range. They're kind of a trial and error thing. I'm scared to listen to this. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. So here's the original. And here's this. Yeah, you can really define what parts have the most body, and it doesn't really adjust the volume of them. It's very strange how this application works. I think we are missing a little bit around here, actually, so let's bring a bit of that back in, a bit of this. Yeah, Tombstone, if you want to shoot me the final of this before you release it, I absolutely adore how this sounds. So if you want to shoot me the final of this, like when it's done, I can throw it through an instance of Harbell. I would say drop me a link via Twitter. Do you have a Twitter, Tombstone? Twitter is like absolutely positively guaranteed to make it my way. Like, I know that's like the stupidest shit in the world, but yeah, okay, shoot it to me on Twitter. Just drop me a link via a DM. I gotta follow you back there. Just shoot me an @ right now, and I'll follow you. Okay, so let's listen to this again. Here's the original. And here's the balance. Oh, this is Tombstone's remix. I was just doing a quick test for him of EQing, an example of how to EQ. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this filter. Now this is a cool thing you can do. I'm going to call this tombstone.mfl. And so I have this file saved now where I can close this, and I'll just put it somewhere else on my desktop so I do not lose it. And now when you're done the track, I can apply that filter curve to it instantly. So if you don't play too much with the overall tone of the track, like instrument-wise, I can apply that filter curve to it and it should sound great coming out of the gate. And to give you an example of how it looks in Goldwave now, here's, I toned this down, what you sent me, but as you can see, very, very highly compressed. And kind of like magic, you can see that there are some dynamics built right back into it, like some higher peaks after the EQing. I find it does a really, really good job of breathing some life into it. Aside from that, really basic stuff. I'm going to throw it through a steep high pass, 20 hertz, okay? You could see that too, how it changed after the high pass. And we're going to run it through a very shallow low pass of about, I do 16.5 or 17 kilohertz. You can see how it's rounded out at the top, at the bottom right there now in my spectrograph. So we're filtering out a lot of potentially harmful frequencies without losing actual sound quality. Some people will say you shouldn't do that because you're losing all of the really, really high-end harmonics, but I'd like to meet the person who can actually tell the difference. Technically speaking, let me look at that again. Not the most in-phase thing I've ever seen in my life, but let me see what I can do actually. Channel mixer. Let's do that. Okay, check this out. So if you look at the bottom right now, you'll see that the XY graph, that's a little spiky thing bouncing out of the bottom right, it's a lot straighter, and if I were to send this off in its current state, it would be ready for a vinyl press. It's really easy to prepare for vinyl press. You don't need too much more mastering or mix down. Just a simple case of keeping things a bit more centered, knocking out your lows, rolling off your highs, and you're ready to press your record, like if you want to do that. So which one? The one at the bottom right? It's called an XY graph. That's all I've ever heard it referred to as. I don't know if it has any other, I don't know if there are any other terms for it, but whatever. Either way, so yeah, like I said, I will follow you on Twitter and shoot me the final when it's when it's prepared to just be run through quickly, I can do that for you. Yeah. Other than that, today we have produced a new Phrase in Blender track. Oh, I'm not big on Isotope's mastering stuff either, really. I think it can take a lot of life out of the sound, oddly enough. It can sound really, I guess, I don't know, it's a lot of overproduction, I guess, and I don't really like that. I like it when things are underproduced more than, a lot more than they're overproduced. I like sound to have personality, so... Okay, so for Wheels of Steel here... Oh shit, this is almost ready out of the gate, actually. I'm just gonna throw the 20 hertz high pass on it. 20 high pass... Go. Mastering over a compressed track generally, I've done it, and I've also not done it, and it doesn't, it hasn't mattered for me because I've been dealing with the sounds, as far as, over the course of the entire project. What I would say to send me is one without a master compressor, but rendered out quietly, at 50% its normal volume. If you get me that, I can throw in some EQ, throw in a bit of master compression, and we'll be good. It's a really, really easy thing to fix up. Just make sure your percussion is nice and punchy. That's all. Yeah, this track's ready. Wheels of Steel is ready. It will be posted online within a couple hours. So watch the Tumblr, watch the YouTube, watch the Facebook, watch the Twitter, wherever you watch me. And I will post that free download. I had a lot of fun making it. And that's it. So get out. And hope you had fun watching, and thanks for hanging out. It's always fun. So we'll... the monitors. I do have studio monitors. I have a couple of M Audio M30s or whatever the fuck they're called. They're okay. Alright, they get the job done. To be honest, even though I have them, 99% of my stuff is done through consumer level headphones. You don't need big money stuff. You don't need any of that. It's a waste of money. Use your ears and your eyes. If you can read an EQ graph or a spectrograph, then you don't need super high quality equipment. And pretty much every free application on the planet will provide, audio application will provide those visual services for you. So just do that. And that's all. You can scoot away now. Track will be out sometime very shortly, today. And that's all I can say about that.